well. Sree Iyer, let me start with you, sir. You've got your ear to the ground. How is S. Jaishankar's decision of pulling out of this meeting being seen, and how is it being received there, sir?
A snub for Rep. Pramila Jayapal. Now, I just looked at the demographics of the 7th District of Washington from where she is elected. It is 10.7% Asian and 76% white. And her victory margin was 82% to 7%. So it's a very democratic segment. I expect that Speaker Nancy Pelosi is going to do course correction, because she is going to have a lot of trouble in 2020 elections if she lets the likes of Pramila Jayapal, Ilhan Omar, Sheila Rashid, and a few others to contest re-election, because these are all people who are tilting so far left, and they are fanning this Hindu phobia flames without actually doing the research. It is very regrettable in the case of Pramila Jayapal, because she's born in India and she claims that she visits India often, and yet for someone like that to have such a shallow vision of India, and then saying that Kashmir democracy is not being allowed, freedom of speech is not being allowed. I think these people need to understand that India is not a fully developed country technology wise. They don't have the specialized tools to try and figure out what software the jihadis are using to communicate amongst one another. So they can only break the medium of communication, which is the internet. And look, you don't have any other choice to maintain law and order. So they don't seem to want to put themselves in the shoes of the Indian administrators, who are trying to do the best job they possibly can to keep this thing contained. This is not a one-day history. For 30, 40, 70 years. Go back to the 1951 cartoon where there is a cow being shown with all the minorities, especially the Muslims, getting the best of it. So this is not a problem that is going to be, something that has been brewing only for the last 5-6 years. This is also a very bad, move by Congress, because they are not understanding the counter polarization that can happen when you take an issue without legs and then try to fan the fears of the minority community. And when that happens, the majority community is going to say, enough, you've been pampered enough. I expect this weekend to see a strong support by those who are welcoming CAA and CAB out on the streets, but they will all be peaceful. The way that a protest has to be registered, and I think this is the lesson that has to be taught at the first level. But I do want the local governments to be responsible for the state law and order, and I think Amit Shah needs to crack the whip. Under the Constitution, he has several tools to give warning notices to the likes of those governments who are allowing these things to fan the flames. Hello?
Professor Nalapat, let me bring you in, sir. How do you view these developments coming in?
Well, if you're talking about Minister Jaishankar not basically attending a meeting because a particular legislator was invited, it plays very well in India. And in India, Jaishankar will be a hero. But unfortunately, in my view, it will not play similarly in the United States. I mean, telling United States legislators whom they can and whom they cannot invite is something that will make them extremely angry. And very frankly, in my view, Jaishankar is a very accomplished diplomat. He has got very fine arguments in support of India's position. India has very right and justice on its side. So in my personal view, from the Indian reaction point of view, Jaishankar has done the right thing. Indians are very happy. I mean, when we basically, defy the United States, Indians are always very happy. But if he had gone there to change hearts and minds in the United States, I personally think he could have attended that meeting and not made an issue of Pramila Jayapal. And he could have argued with Pramila Jayapal and very calmly shown that her arguments are absolute nonsense.
Do you think, sir, as someone who's known to have a great reputation as a skilled statesman, especially in times of turmoil, this was a decision that should have been weighed in further? Is that what you're saying, Professor Nalapat?
I'm only saying that I'm seeing basically a very strong focus of the government on their home constituencies in India, and essentially, the reaction abroad is not given very high importance. So this is one more example of that. As I said, this plays very well domestically before the voters who would normally vote for BJP. But I'm saying that so far as international opinion is concerned, sometimes the situation gets reversed. So in this point of view, in the United States, I don't think this would have gone down very well at all. And I think it would have annoyed a lot of Democrats, especially Elliot Engel, who is a good friend of India. I think he would not have been happy at all.
See, there was a letter that was written by the US, the Indian ambassador to the US, Shrinkla, to the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and that was a confidential letter, and it got leaked. And perhaps the Minister of External Affairs felt it's responsible that he needs to show that he cannot, he has to object to the fact that it got leaked, allegedly from the House Foreign Affairs Committee side. And of that committee, Pramila Jayapal is a member. So there is some other backstories also to this.
Kumar, let me come in there, sir.
Yeah.
There are two parallel things. One, of course, is the 2+2 dialogue that is currently on, which is why, of course, Mr. Jaishankar is in the US. And parallelly, he was to hold this round of meetings with several lawmakers, including Pramila Jayapal. But given the fact that she's sponsoring this resolution against Kashmir, despite the government and the Prime Minister making India's position clear on multiple occasions in the past, is the reason why S. Jaishankar had wanted her to be withdrawn from the meeting. That didn't happen, which is why India withdrew. But then, Professor Nalapat, let me bring you in, sir. How do you respond to what Pramila Jayapal has said, and also her intent that she is now going to push through her resolution more firmly?
Look, Pramila Jayapal is talking absolute nonsense about Kashmir. And I'm sorry to say, Ms. Jayapal obviously has never heard of Pakistan, has never heard of Bangladesh and Afghanistan, and has never heard of the torture that minorities have suffered in these three places. The poor lady seems to be completely ignorant of these three countries. But having said that, I want to point out, Mr. Ajay Kumar, that the United States has a pretty active media, and leaks are commonplace. Leaks take place round the clock. When I go to Washington, I'm happy that there are a lot of leaks. They're giving me a lot of very interesting information about what is going on, and I'm delighted about it. To say that, you suspect somebody leaked, for God's sake, everybody in that committee would be leaking every week to somebody or the other. So this is not she is the representative. And the point is, there is a club feeling about representatives. If you order a committee chairman that I will not meet this person and you must exclude that person, if he were to do so, he will lose all authority in the committee and he will lose the respect of all his other fellow representatives. So just as Ajay Kumar is standing up for India's right and India's honor, they will stand for their own rights and their own honor. My point is very simple. Has Jaishankar gone there to change hearts and minds in India? If so, he's done a very great job. Ajay Kumar is definitely the majority opinion. But if he's gone to change hearts and minds in the United States, I think what he has done is quite a problem, if you ask me. And I'm really surprised. I know Jaishankar. He's a brilliant man. He's a sensitive man. I'm really surprised that he did this.
We are not a
Sree Iyer, let's hear him out. Let's hear him
sectarian
out, sir.
state. We are not a
Let's hear out Sree Iyer, sir.
We are a democracy. Therefore, it doesn't matter if there people are criticizing like that.
Look,
take criticism in your stride.
look.
That's called
I'm on the
diplomacy.
ground
Take it in
here.
your
I know
stride.
what is going on. 6 months or more now, Pramila Jayapal has been in the news for the wrong reasons. This is not a one-time thing. This has been building up for a long time. I think a message had to be sent to the likes of Pramila Jayapal, and there is another gentleman called Ro Khanna. These people are being turned on like a mic, on, off. Okay, and we know who the person is who is making them jump like this. Please don't underestimate the intelligence that Indian community has here or the Indian government. There are very good, solid reasons why Miss Pramila Jayapal had to be shown her place. Don't think that the diplomacy is at stake here, that there's shades of gray. Everything I understand, everything I accept. After all, Jaishankar was himself a career diplomat. There is more things going on there than meeting the eye, and this message had to be sent. I think India is trying to take more the form of the Israeli diplomacy that you see. Israel, when it does some things, it doesn't care for what the people are complaining about.
Okay.
It says, this is the national interest of Israel, and this is what we are going to do. And if Jaishankar represents the national interests of India,
Yes,
what's
indeed.
wrong with that? Why can't he
Diplomacy
say
is like,
that, look, I
we
don't
still
like the way
shake
you are
hands with the
doing this
Chinese
thing,
leaders,
especially when
although we
UN
know
has taken
that they are
Kashmir
always stabbing
off
us in
of
the
its
back and
list.
they are pro-Pakistanis.
UN has already taken Kashmir off of
Absolutely,
its list.
everywhere.
There's no more Kashmir to be discussed.
China
All
is
right.
coming in the way. But yet, when we meet the Chinese leaders,
So,
we
but
don't act
that's
surly.
about
We shake hands with
diplomacy.
them.
There is no one strict way of
Diplomacy
following
means meeting
the
your
rules, and there is no
adversary,
single way
even the
of doing
strongest
things.
of your
And that's really
adversary.
what
Diplomacy
diplomacy
means
is, which is why
meeting him
you
with a
have a
smile,
complete
offering
difference
him
of
a cup of
opinion
tea.
between
That
Professor
is called
Nalapat, Sree
diplomacy.
Iyer and the other panelists
That is
as
called
far as
diplomacy.
how S. Jaishankar should have handled this, or could he have handled this more deftly, given his reputation as a skilled statesman when it comes to tricky foreign policy matters.